movement when you're doing foil fencing.
Yeah.
It's just a little flick of the wrist and it whips that
Yeah.
sword tip
It's
at you.
it's a little more when you're doing saber because you're actually using the arm.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have arm movements because you've got the blocking and stuff with the sword as well. But yeah, and there's all the positions there's that I learned and I still remember mostly. But yeah, fencing is fun.
What's that? What was that echo? Did you hear that echo?
I did a little bit.
That's so weird. Oh well. All right. Well, we'll continue that in just a second. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Spilling Ink. We are the talk show that takes you behind the book to meet the authors and professionals in the publishing industry. And we've got a family member in the indie tribe. Anita, welcome back.
Oh, it's great to be here. And apparently my voice decided to break as we go live.
Oh, no. So, what were we talking about a few seconds ago? Fencing.
Yeah.
Fencing. Yeah. That is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to do too. Although I never competed in any tournaments with the club I was in. I watched other people do it because they were a lot better than I was at it. Because it wasn't that I wasn't good at the actual fencing, but because of the fact you have to wear a mask over
Mm.
glasses, the mask and the glasses restricted my vision more than the other people. So it kind of hindered my abilities a little bit. But yeah, it was still fun.
Gotta
And
get you to come down for Combat Con one year.
yeah, I would love to actually. But
It's one of my favorite conventions to go to, and I want to say it's my favorite Vegas convention to go to because Vegas gets a lot of small conventions, and I do Comic Cons in bigger cities that are really interesting. But Combat Con is like my little hometown favorite fun convention where I get to do authorly stuff, but I also get to learn combat skills, get to watch fights, get to participate and learn some of these skills, which is amazing. So I got to plug them because they are coming July 21st through 24th. So we're almost there. Less than 30 days. I'm so excited. And I've got an author friend who does actually compete in the longsword. And as I was telling you before we went live, watching her get ready and all the equipment that they need, it's modern day armor for sure.
yeah.
With the freedom of movement, but man, watching them just wail on each other and how fast they can move, especially with a longsword, the speed at which they can move is just amazing.
Yeah, it's all skill. I mean, yeah, it is amazing. Even with the fencing, you learn how to move and avoid and just counterattack in seconds.
Yeah. And I've had a few people show me some of the moves, but I mean, it would take years to really get good with that kind of stuff. But I'm in awe every time I can watch it because it's just fantastic to see. And uh, sorry, fangirling already. I can't wait. I've been so looking forward to it. And hopefully, because I'll be teaching on the writing track, hopefully I'll have plenty of time to go watch the tournaments as well as go participate in a lot of the classes because they have so many new varieties this year of things to learn. And I want to do everything, but
Yeah,
I got to pick and choose.
I'd totally be going to watch the sword fighting because I love that. They had like our local convention here has some of the LARPers,
Oh,
or it
cool.
might be HEMA because I know there's a HEMA group in here in Nova Scotia too, but they have demonstrations um, at the convention that you can watch, which is fun. And occasionally they'll bring in audience members just to do a little try for it. That's fun too. So
Oh yeah, that's half the fun, and for writers especially, knowing the mechanics of the movements and getting to hold a sword in your hand or a shield, a saber, different weapons, and feel how you move with them, what it feels like to hit something with them. It's so helpful in writing because if we know those feelings, we can describe them better. If we
yeah.
know what certain blocks look like, we're able to write them and we can write the counters and actually get a really cool fight going.
Yeah, I was practicing with one of my daggers to see how it could be concealed and pulled out, how fast a assassin could do it.
Yes.
And yeah, it's pretty fast. Just if you want to know, you can do it pretty quick and easy, and just stab somebody and walk away.
Oh
Especially if
yeah.
you were, I mean, this is a Renaissance thing, so I was, easily concealed under a cloak, pull it out, stab somebody, put it back, go away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I believe it too. I mean, in one of the clinics that we taught last year at Combat Con, it was a show us your fight scene and we're going to act it out with weapons. And it was, again, it was eye-opening for the authors that came in to see the movements, see how it happens, see what you can and can't do so that they can make their scene more accurate. And a lot of people are surprised with how speedy you can be with various weapons, even the big ones.
Yeah, because I mean, and it's interesting because like when we do it, when we block it, if we can do it, and then our characters can do it better because they're well, hopefully they've been trained in this. So
Although
they'd be faster and more experienced, and the movements would be almost automatic. So
Although the inexperienced are definitely interesting to fight against too, because the wild card, and you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what movements they're going to make because they don't have that muscle memory of, which blocks to throw or which way to move the sword or how to, control the distance between the fight, that kind of stuff. So you
yeah,
throw wild cards in there, that can be even more fun.
yeah. And when you're in real desperation, you pick up a garden gnome and brain your opponent with it.
That was one of the things I used to do with my ex-husband. Just, honey, stand there. I'm gonna get my sword out. Just stand there. I won't hit you. I promise. And practice working around him with a weapon.
But yeah, that's another thing that a lot of writers don't talk about is when you are fighting, you're not fighting precise choreographed movements. You're
Mhm.
fighting down and dirty, and you're using every trick in the book to win.
Yes.
And that's what you have to do when you're doing the fighting scenes. Like if you lose your weapon, you pick up a rock and you hit somebody with it.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, or you trip them, or you kick them in the kneecap and break their kneecap, which is, by the way, the easiest bone in the body to break is the kneecap. Just if anyone needs it,
Uh-huh.
uh-huh.
A well-placed strike right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're down on the ground and a knife in your hand, you hamstring your opponent, which is to cut the tendons in the
Mm-hmm.
calf, in the
Mm-hmm.
back of the calf.
Yep. And it's fun learning all those things.
It is.
And that's actually what we'll be teaching at Combat Con this year for the writers track is we're doing a writing intensive on fight scenes specifically. So we're going to be teaching not only, the items that go into plotting and character and setting and all that stuff, but how to actually make your scene accurate. And so we're teaming up with stunt actors. We're teaming up with weapons experts to do in class, play with the weapons, learn the moves, learn the mechanics, and go write the scene. So we're really merging the two so we can get our writers
Yeah.
to, step it up a notch.
Yeah, there's a group I belong to on Facebook too that it's for fantasy authors. I think they may be expanding it out eventually, but it's basically medical people are in the
Ooh,
group who will answer your questions.
I
And
like that.
yeah, I was very
That
nicely informed on how a stab wound would bleed out. And it depends on where in the body you stab, of course, for the bleeding, but it's actually it won't bleed as much as I thought it would, which was interesting.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good stuff to know too. I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
you
if you
gotta
hit him in
know.
the heart, of course, you're going to bleed more than if you hit him in the stomach. There was a couple of different scenes I was discussing with them. One was in the heart, one was in the stomach. But if you get it in the abdomen, you're not going to bleed out as much because then a lot of the bleeding's going to be
Pools
internal.
under the skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is all good information. And speaking of, to kind of round it off to what we were meant to be talking about today. So, Anita, you have been doing a lot of YouTube videos on author advice, which is something I don't care if you're new or experienced, advice is always helpful. And it's always good to get other opinions from people who are doing the same thing. So, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us how you got that started and what you're doing with this.
Well, I started it just to help other authors because you hang out on Facebook long enough, you see a lot of these new authors. They're always asking questions. They
Yep.
don't know what they're doing because neither did we when we started. And So I figured I'd just do a few YouTube videos and help people out. I've done one on how to do a video interview like this. What kind of etiquette would you should prepare, how you should go about it, and yeah, and to definitely show up for your video interview.
Share too. Share your
Yes,
interview.
share. Yes, definitely share. And I also did one on. I did a live one on how to do your own book cover.
Oh.
And that was fun because Photoshop crashed in the middle of that.
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, live on air, Photoshop crashed.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. And recent one I did that did pretty well was the one I did on the low cost marketing advice.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean how to go about it. And then I did a follow up with that one with three gurus, as I called them, that I use for marketing advice. That they have a lot of free stuff that you can
I
get,
love
and they
that.
also have books out and stuff, and paid stuff as well, because they got to get paid too. So
Yes.
and I'm going to put out one soon on choosing categories.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you see that a lot, especially with new authors, and I hate to single them out, but romance authors are very guilty of this in putting their books in the wrong categories, especially when you're doing group promos. They
Yeah.
apply to promos across the board, and they're annoying a lot of people. Because
Yeah.
I see it in the Story Origin group on Facebook a lot. People are complaining that people are submitting to their promos and their books are not appropriate. So I figured the advice on that, on how to choose your category, how to figure out, especially if you're in a mashup sort of situation, which I am in a lot, what categories to choose, how to find them, how to submit to promos properly. Because you get a lot with a lot of new writers. They just don't know the proper etiquette. And a
Mhm.
lot of them don't understand what genre they've written, which I find confusing. They don't. Like I was talking to one, I forget which group it was author, and she was trying to narrow down her category. And I mean, I don't know exactly what she was writing, but her category sounded a lot more like thriller or suspense. And she was thinking it was more like family drama
Huh.
because
That's
it
that's
revolved around a family,
but
right?
that's wildly different though.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that she thought genre was the characters, like the plot of the book is family, right? It's
Really?
about a family. So, from what I gathered, and I've seen this a lot, people don't get the genre has nothing to do with the plot, really. It has more to do with the elements that are in the plot. Like if you've got elves and quests and magic, you're a fantasy, no doubt. If you've got romance in that as well, then you're a fantasy romance, but you're not a romance fantasy.
Is there possibility that a lot of them are just kind of doing the throw shit at a wall and see what sticks?
Yeah, there is that possibility, but throw shit at a wall and stick can come back and bite you in the ass.
Yeah, true, true. I'm not saying it's right, but I just wonder because I do see a lot of times when I'm searching categories on Amazon, books
Yeah,
that do not fit in the search
yeah,
that I've pulled up, and they're probably doing very well, and that's why they stuck them in that category because it was maybe
yeah. But they're
not
doing
as filled.
damage they don't understand to
Mhm.
their their algorithm on Amazon, and they're also doing damage to other authors who are not getting in that category, who belong in that category because they've taken spots.
True,
And
very
if you've
true.
seen my recent tweets on the bear shifter in women's poetry that I complained about,
What?
I went to the women's poetry category to check out some of the uh, I forget. Oh, it's the blurb. I was trying to figure out the blurb for my latest poetry book, which is about women's issues. And I was checking out the books in the women's poetry category, and I found a bear shifter romance at number 3. And it was a novel, not a poetry book. It wasn't even the right type of book.
That is so annoying.
And I also found a thriller, a romantic suspense thriller. So
But is there any penalty that they get for doing something like that?
Um,
If they're making number 3, obviously they're getting their banner, they're getting seen more, even if
kind
it's the
of.
wrong place.
It can be. Amazon can penalize you for it. Doesn't do it very often, but
Mm-hmm.
they have been cracking down here and there lately. So I mean, it's a risk whether you realize it or not. It's also a risk as far as that, because Amazon has been cracking down on some of that, and they've been getting complaints too. So they may do it more.
Yeah, I always wonder with Amazon if they're going to do the right thing or if they're going to find a way to make it more problematic for us indies.
Yeah, Amazon's indecipherable as a company, in my opinion. I just try to have as little to do with them as possible until they screw something up, and then I yell at them.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot of great advice to share. And what's the reception been for it?
Well, the marketing video did pretty well. Yeah, but I mean, my YouTube channel is not big yet. I mean, it's growing slowly, so hopefully we'll get a little more traction on it, because I'm just learning basically on how to use the hashtags and get the views and do the pretty thumbnails and things like that. So, because I mean, I really didn't pay much attention to my YouTube until the last couple of years. So, anyway, but yeah, I'm also putting out some digital downloads, and I got the new book, the Planning Your Book thing, which is
Ooh.
my writer's creative organizer, which is
Hold
basically
on.
how
Bring it up again.
to the Planning Your Book, the
Yes.
writer's creative organizer. And it's basically how to, it's got all these little sheets in it. See,
Yes. Hold on. Making it big.
yeah,
Yes.
for characters and for plots, and I made it so you can use it for multiple books or a series, and it's also good for plotters or pantsers, either way, because I've got like things to put plot outlines on and things to put plot notes on in the plotting section, and I've got things for images and sketches and maps, and it's even got a little calendar in the back so you can put all your little events in.
Oh, hold on. Make it big again. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So that and there's a print version for people who like to have a physical copy of things. And I've
Yes.
also got a digital version up on Ko-fi that you can download if you prefer to do the digital.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a great helper for authors to get their planning done. I like
Yeah.
that.
But anyway, yeah, I'm proud of how it came out, although it was, yeah, pain and a half to format.
Oh
It
yeah. Oh yeah.
it kept moving things. I kept adding things, but the tables kept shifting, so I had to
Mhm.
go back and redo it like 5 times. It was so frustrating.
I did the same thing with the women's guide to PTSD that we're getting ready to release. And of course, my name's on it. I want it to look as good as possible. I mean, I would obviously want it to look as good as possible because I want to make this book great, even if my name wasn't on it. But I get the wild idea that I need to make each page more visually appealing. I don't want just walls of text. I need to separate things out. And of course, what does that include? Lots of text boxes. And the same problem you had. The minute you do something, it tweaks
Yeah.
something else, and a text box drops where it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
And
it's the lined things on it that got me. It's not so much the images. The images were pretty easy. It was the line things that kept shifting. Because I
ah,
mean, I'd add something because like I had beta readers go over the first draft and tell me what they thought and give me suggestions on what might be good to add. And one of my beta readers had some great suggestions, but of course I had to add all these things in.
mm-hmm.
And when I added all the things in, the tables kept shifting down and up and ended up with 3 lines on a new page that I had to redelete. And then I had to go over every one of those sections and make sure they were as even as possible. So like they all had like 8 things at the bottom under one heading or whatever it was. And then so yeah, they're not 100% even because for some reason some pages have 7 and some pages have 8. But they're as close as possible and no one's going to probably know. So
There you go. There you go. As long as you get it close enough. What is it? 80% is what you strive for?
yeah.
Because perfection's impossible.
But yeah, but yeah, and I put little instructions in every section so that you know what the sections are for, and I've got images in it so it's not like total text and ruled lines. So
Yeah,
you got
you
pretty
got the
pictures to
visual
look at.
elements. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Now, how long did this take you from start to finish?
Um, probably about uh, probably about 6 months or so.
Oof.
I mean, I had the initial idea and then I just kind of stuck it in I use Papyrus Author to format. So I stuck it in there and it just sort of sat there till I got around to actually doing it. And it took me about 6 months to get all the formatting done and stuff. And then it
Yeah.
took Amazon like about a week to get it published. It's like I hit the publish in that time where they had that delay.
Ah.
So yeah, so the publishing was delayed. So that was fun.
So, what is Papyrus Author? I don't think I've used that program.
It's kind of like a Scribner sort of thing.
Okay.
Anyway, and they have a free version and a paid version, and the free version's actually nice. I actually like formatting print in it better than I did in InDesign. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
basically
InDesign.
it's similar to the way it formats with InDesign. The learning curve is a little more clunky in
Mm,
Papyrus Author, but there's some features of it that actually work better than InDesign. So
okay. Yeah, InDesign, once you've, I guess, got your templates in order, as long as it's a regular standard novel, it's not too hard. But those
yeah,
finicky bits, those are
yeah,
always,
it was
always a headache.
it was the kerning part of the formatting that got me in InDesign, which is a lot easier and it looks a lot better in Papyrus Author.
Mm.
The only thing with InDesign, with Papyrus Author, with all of these things is that stupid table of contents.
Yeah.
It's like it's like why? Why does it do this thing? Anyway, the numbering in Papyrus Author is a little it works well, but it's a little weird to remember how to do it from book to book.
Okay.
But once you figure out the trick of it, or like with me, I remember, okay, now how did I do this again? It's like 15 minutes of refreshing your memory on how to get it done.
Uh,
And then it's after that it's pretty easy to change. It's like with InDesign you had to move things and switch things around whenever you changed it. With Papyrus Author, you just go into a little box and you change numbers and it does it automatically.
well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's just you got to remember how to change the numbers. Which is because I mean I'm like my mind will just dump that information from book to book. So
Yeah, if you're not using it at the moment, it goes into,
yeah, it
long
goes in
term long term storage, and it's
storage.
hard to
Yeah,
find it again. We talked about Atticus recently as a possible alternative for indies to use, and I've played around with it a little bit since then. And I'm
yeah.
not as impressed as I was initially.
I tried it when it first came out. I did not stick with it because, as I said, I had Papyrus. I had Papyrus Author, and basically, Papyrus Author can do much of what Atticus can do at the moment. Atticus is adding stuff and getting better, so it may actually improve as the things go on. But at the moment, I got a free program that I can use just fine. So, and I
Mhm.
did not like the online thing about Atticus. That was the one deal breaker for me. It's like
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I like everything on my computer.
Yeah, which is funny because I love Google Docs, but go figure. So, but you can use Google Docs offline.
Yeah, you can.
It's a little tricky sometimes, but you can use Google Docs offline.
I really prefer to have everything just on my computer to work with it. So right now, Atticus, I'm not getting rid of it yet.
Yeah,
Hey, Rebecca, but it's not my go-to. I still prefer formatting in the way that I've been formatting for years, and I use a clone of InDesign, which is called Affinity. Affinity Publisher. That way, I don't have to worry about any extra fees, one-time purchase, and I use
yeah.
it forever.
I tried that one.
It's
Did not like
similar.
it. I did not like it. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I mean, if you can figure it out, it's good. That's great. But I could not figure it out for the life of me. It
For
drove me
basic
nuts.
stuff, it's okay. But I still, honestly, I have VBA code that I use within Word that I can format faster and more clean than any other program I've used. So I still go back to using, Word as my standby
Yeah.
with a little extra
Yeah.
coding that gives me a way to format it without the headaches.
Yeah. I mean, I like Papyrus Author because you can actually upload a Word document to it, and it will pretty much just format it, and you can just format it in Papyrus Author, and it's fine. And you can export as a PDF. You can export as an EPUB. You can and do
Oh,
all
I do
that.
like that automatic EPUB exporting. Oh,
Yeah,
saves such.
the only fun the EPUB's a little not quite good. I have to sometimes do a little bit of tweaking in Sigil
Okay.
with the EPUB, but it's just minor tweaking because it may be me and not the program, because I didn't watch any of the tutorials and kind of figured it out on my own. So, I mean, I may just not be doing something right on that, but
I think most of us we tend to learn that way.
oh,
The ones who are just always doing the formatting and stuff ourselves, we
yeah,
figure our own little
it's like,
tips and
I
tricks
don't
out
have
to.
time to watch the tutorials. I have things to do.
Yep, I'm the same way. I don't use Sigil. I never got the hang of Sigil, but I still use Calibre, and I like their editor. I can go in and I can fiddle with it, change the coding however I want to, and that I seem to understand that one better.
Yeah, no, I like Sigil because I mean, you can look at the code and you can look at the non-code in
Hmm.
both ways, and so I mean, I'm used to the code part of it because I used to do my own website way back in the day, and I learned the hard way on how to do basic code. I mean, I can't write any code like computer stuff or anything like that, but I can do basic coding like the HTML, TML stuff. So, I mean, I can understand that. So, I mean, I don't mind using Sigil. And
I can understand it. I don't think I could write my own from scratch, but I can Frankenstein from what's there and make
yeah,
it work. It's about as far as I get, but I know it well enough to be able to Frankenstein it. So there's that. The only one I've ever heard that still likes I just like their editor. I mean, I don't use it for much, but when I want to go in and check an EPUB file, their editor makes sense to me, and I've gotten so used to it. I know, where to do everything, how to move around in it. So you
well,
kind of like an old dog, you get stuck in one way and you don't want to change.
yeah, I mean, Calibra is not that bad for making EPUBs and Mobi files and stuff. I mean, especially if you want to upload reader magnets and stuff. But I mean, and if there is any issues with it, you can just tweak them in Sigil or
It
their own
always gets
editor,
into
like you said.
fistfights with Google. What? You're gonna have to clarify that one, Rebecca. I don't understand why Calibra is fighting with Google.
Yes, why does it fight with Google? I've never had any fights with it, Google. I
And a
mean,
lot of
and
times,
I've
again,
run it through EPUB checks when I'm done, and it hasn't
mhm.
had any problems with it.
Yeah, and that's, again, one of the reasons that I ended up learning the editor was because I would get EPUBs that weren't passing check, and I'd have to go in and find something, in all this string of code, and it made it easier for me to find. We'll see what Rebecca says. Formatting is such a pain in the butt. I mean, there's a lot of quick ways around it, like with Draft to Digital will help you do it, but
Yeah. Oh, but
you never
draft to
get,
digital is only good up to a point.
yeah, you never get perfect. That's what I was about to say. It's not always
Not
perfect.
even that. There are some things that draft to digital just doesn't quite grasp, like the short story. I did the short story in draft to digital, and that was a bit of a pain. They have
Mm,
improved their poetry thing. They have
okay.
actually done their poetry. They will format poetry, and it comes out pretty good now. So
Okay, what is Rebecca saying? Calibra has hidden characters in it, so about half the time when I upload to share the doc with my authors, it will break. I've never run into that problem.
no, I haven't either.
I'll format
What are you
from.
uploading to Calibre that causing the breaks?
Is it she's using a Google Doc into Calibra?
I don't know, maybe.
Hmm.
If you are using a Google Doc in Calibre, upload the Google Doc as a Word document and then try it.
Or, when you download it, save it as an RTF. That way it
Because
blanks
I
all of
mean,
the extra.
because Calibre will accept Word documents no problem, and I've had no issues uploading Word documents and converting them.
Although I think she's kind of like done with it.
hey, if she's got another program that works for her, fine. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever works.
I mean,
Whatever
I
you
don't
get that
use
does it.
Calibre much. I just basically use it for the reader magnets that I upload to Story Origin. This is true. We're not doing it several times per manuscript either.
Yeah, that's true. Well, unless
Yeah.
you make a screw up.
Because,
Now,
I
but
mean,
Kindle Previewer is what I use for that. I check my EPUB, then I throw it into Kindle
Yeah.
Previewer, then I double check it there.
Yeah.
And usually, if I find the screw up there, I can easily just go back and
yeah,
fix.
because when I format my ebooks, I use Kindle Create for the stuff I upload to Amazon. It's got the Kindle Previewer built into it too. So,
Okay.
and it makes a nice basic EPUB. No, well, it's not an EPUB. I don't know
The
what the heck.
KPF. Yeah.
I don't know what the heck Kindle Create spits out,
Okay,
but
so
it works.
Amazon does take EPUBs now, so you could
Yeah,
just.
it's going to not take Mobies. Period.
I know. Yay!
It's retiring the Mobi.
Thank
Kindle,
God.
the
So sick of
Kindlepreneur
that.
people put out 2 videos on that, and that you're how to upload a EPUB to your Kindle.
Oh, good, good. So we're completely getting rid of the format, and
Yeah,
now we don't have to worry about, because that's always an annoyance too. Is you get the EPUB perfect, and then you've got to convert it to a Mobi file, and Mobi just doesn't quite have the same functionality, so things don't work as well.
yeah, but I don't know how that's going to affect places like BookFunnel and Story Origin, though, because if they're going to EPUB to upload their books, I mean, if Amazon's going to say you can't put Mobies on your Kindle anymore, I mean, we're going to
Then
have
they
to go and do all our reader magnets and remove the Mobies.
That's easy enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we usually upload both versions anyway, so we just no longer need the
Although I
Mobi.
will be happy not to have to put 2 versions up on things like Story Origin if that's the
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
'Cause, yeah, that sucks. I just
Well,
rather just do the EPUB and be done with it.
well, the EPUB always had a little bit more functionality than the Mobi. It
Mm,
could handle things better, like text boxes, like floating images, and that kind of stuff. Whereas the Mobi was just really clunky.
mm. But yeah, and for my other my wide books, I just use the drafted digital formatter usually because it does a pretty good job and it has nice little scene break things on it. Although I wish they would get around to putting more on that site.
Which one was it?
The drafted digital.
I'm wondering if, because they're merging with
Oh.
Smashwords.
Oh, they promised us this stuff like 3 years ago, and they didn't do it yet.
Yeah, but Smashwords now owns them, if I remember correctly how the merger went. So now
No,
they've got
they own Smashwords.
they own Smashwords. Okay, so I got it backwards. So they've got to do all the merging and stuff to get those two platforms to talk before they give us anything new.
Mm.
I'm guessing it'll be a while before we get anything absolutely new from them. But they were an easy way to format if you didn't know how to format.
Yeah, I mean, Smashwords is still pretty much doing business as usual, and so's Drafted Digital. I mean, they're not doing anything together yet, because I mean, Smashwords is currently having their summer sale thing that
Mhm.
they have every year. So I put a few of my books. I still have some books on Smashwords, the older ones that I never bothered to take off. So
Yeah.
the some of them are on sale. So. But I don't promote there anymore. It's just like, oh, I've got some books over there. Put them on sale every once in a while. People
I
download
forget
them.
what's on Smashwords. I mean, I love Smashwords for being the granddaddy that started
Yeah.
it, but they never
was
updated anything.
Yeah, it was the meat grinder that did it did me in.
God.
That's why I switched to Drafted Digital, because I mean, I
Mhm.
never get it right the first time, even on Drafted Digital. There's always something that's wrong. There's always one line that doesn't have a space. And it's like, why did I not notice that?
Yeah. One little
So
thing
it's
we
like
gotta go back.
five uploads later, you're going, oh, it's finally done. Yay.
But it was way simpler than Smashwords, which would
Yeah.
kick back weird errors that you'd have to go look
Yeah.
up and figure out what the
Yeah.
hell are they talking
Yeah,
about.
it was 10 uploads later on Smashwords. So
And I mean,
a
it was
lot of
nice that
hair
they gave you
pulling.
the formatting guide, but still, I mean, to read a whole manual to figure out what the hell this stupid error that's kicking back is.
Yeah, but I mean, for the novels on Drafted Digital, it's just the little mini mistakes that I miss. mostly. I mean, the poetry I had a lot of problem with until they fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they now you can actually now put in the poetry breaks. There's
Okay.
I think you have to put 2 returns. So I don't remember what it is. I've got it written down somewhere. For every poetry break, and it will actually put it in now.
Okay.
So you can have a nice little everything set up with the poetry. The short story, they did have problems with. I did manage to finally figure out how to get that done right, but yeah, they still have problems with the short story formatting. But
Nothing's ever 100% perfect,
no.
but there at least are
But you can
options.
always do your own EPUB and upload it to Draft to Digital too. So because I did that with one of the poetry books.
Yeah, they always give you that little warning like you're doing something wrong, but just click past it.
Yeah. Well, if you'd use your own EPUB, you can't use something else of theirs, is basically what they're telling you.
Mm-hmm.
But it really makes no difference.
But the first time you see that, especially for new authors, it's like, oh, wait, what? I can't do this. Hold on.
But yeah, I mean, and their Draft to Digital's customer service is really good. Because the first time I used Draft to Digital, I screwed something up royally. I don't remember what it was now, but they actually helped me figure it out and fix it. So yeah, they've got good customer service.
I always get, I forget to take the links out. That's usually where it gets me. Is on my back matter,
Mm.
I've got the links to, website. Sometimes my Amazon page is on there, that kind of stuff. And the minute you've got Amazon in there, it fires back. And one time I had the word Amazon, not a link, the word Amazon, and it flagged it for that.
Yeah. I had the opposite problem. I forgot to take the Draft to Digital page out of some of my books because they give you like a Draft to Digital, read more stuff on the
Mm-hmm.
books to read page thing that I add to the Draft to Digital version. Anyway, so I some of that I think it's up on my reader magnets because I use Draft to Digital's version for the reader magnets, some of them. So yeah, you can see that on some of my reader magnets.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
Not a huge problem though.
Yeah, Rebecca, Draft to Digital has been saying for a long time they're going to update their chapter headings.
Yeah. Like I said though, with the merger, they're probably too busy dealing with
I think
two
they did.
foreign systems.
I did think they updated a couple of them because there is a couple of new ones that but yeah, they don't have any good horror ones and they don't have any good things. But they have had a lot of stuff going on, and their
Mm-hmm.
new print thing took a lot of their time. So it's understandable, but yeah, they've been saying that for a long time, way before Smashwords merger.
We'll believe it when we see it. All right. So, what other author advice are you going to be touching on?
Well, I have been noodling around with doing a cover evaluation video.
Ooh,
I'm just wondering if I can find any guinea pigs in the authors to do it with, though. Because I was kind of like wanted to take authors who want their covers evaluated and do it live on air, like
ooh.
sort of live on air. It's
So,
just
like,
take their cover, do a new version for them, and then show them the old cover, and then show them the new version, and see if they can tell the difference and and tell them what I have changed and what's improved.
okay. That's
I mean,
super fun.
I see a lot of new authors. They're doing their own covers, or they're just getting basic covers, and there are things they could fix that are really easy to fix by themselves. The one thing I see a lot of is bad font.
Yes.
It's like you've done it on Canva, and you've used the fancy font because it's a fancy font,
Yep.
but it's practically unreadable,
Yep.
and it's horrible. And another thing is I see in them use a lot of images, probably off Pixabay or some other site, where they've got the 3D generated figures
Okay.
that are stuck on the backgrounds,
Oh,
and you can tell they're just copy and pasted on the background. There's no shadow, there's no blending, there's no nothing.
Okay.
And they're really bad. I mean, understand why people are doing that because it's expensive to
Yes, can
buy a
be.
cover, which is also why I started doing covers for authors at reasonable prices.
Yeah, you
But
get some excellent prices and some excellent
yeah,
covers
I did
too.
close down the pre-made website though because I wasn't getting the customers there, and I just couldn't afford to keep two websites open.
Mm.
I'm in the middle of transitioning some of it over to my author website, and I'm going to transition some of them over to my Ko-fi page. I'm still in the middle of doing that.
Put
So
it on the list.
I'm sort of transitioning the book cover service into a new 2.0, as it
Okay.
were. But I'm still doing them, and I'm still taking custom covers. And I've actually got some custom. That's why I shut down the pre-made because I was getting more custom work than I was pre-made
Good.
interest. Anyway, so I'm still doing that, although I've been kind of preoccupied with the new job, which it's fun, but it took up a lot more time than I figured at the in first because I had to get used to all the formatting and stuff that they do.
Mm.
And I trained on one site, their WordPress site, and then they switched over to a new platform. So that was fun. It's like, oh yeah, all that training I did and all that stuff I learned, that's totally useless now.
Damn
But actually, I like the new platform better, so I'm just teasing. So it's a lot easier to use than the WordPress one they were using. So I
Oh,
can
that's good
understand.
then.
I understand why they switched.
Fair
100%
enough,
better.
but still, all the time wasted. There's only so many hours in the day.
But yeah, well, I mean, you still learn like their system, like you know, putting in the links and the formatting and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that still was valid, so it wasn't a total waste.
Oh, good.
It just you just had to relearn all of it on the new platform. So
So covers are coming, but it's going to be a little
well, I
while you
still
get other
have
stuff
all the
done.
pre-made covers that were up on the website. They're still available. They're
Okay.
just not out anywhere being visible at the moment. So because
I do like the idea of like a cover clinic. That could be a fun series to do where if you get enough interest in it and you get enough people, willing to show off their cover and have it
because
critiqued
I
and
mean,
fixed.
yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people who it's not necessarily they have bad covers either. Is that they're unsure whether the cover is good or they're unsure whether the cover fits their genre, which is another problem. They have lovely covers, but it might not be genre specific.
Yep.
So yeah, I do like the idea of rounding up a few authors doing them a new cover, and and the incentive would be if you like the new cover, you can have it for free for coming on the show.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
because
And that you could really branch that into like a full series if people like that and want to keep
yeah,
doing that. And that gives you a lot of, marketability for your cover design.
yeah, because I mean I love doing covers. I mean I really do. I mean I did this one.
I like
That's
that one.
yeah. Actually, I left out getting the image, and this continues over in the back with
Oh,
that, and
that's pretty.
then I just purpleized it.
It's a good color. Oh, I'm there.
Because yeah, I mean, I recently joined Canva because actually I joined Canva because I was watching Joe's teachables on Go Indie Now,
Mm-hmm.
and Karina Cantus did how to use Canva, so she finally convinced me to go to Canva
Okay.
because actually I like Canva for doing the graphics because it's a lot quicker. You can just pop in and out of Canva instead of
Hmm.
loading Photoshop and waiting for that to load because
Yeah.
I love Photoshop, but it is so slow on my computer.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, I wouldn't do my covers on Canva because I've got Photoshop and I've got a nifty little plugin for Photoshop called Boris Optics effects.
What? What is this? Tell me more.
Oh, it is so fun. And they've recently updated it for 2020 where they have these little sci-fi things you can stick in it, like little screen overlays, like if you're doing a sci-fi cover and stuff. So you like have like screen grids. Anyway, and it does. Oh, it's really nice because it does nice, like does special effects. You can do ambient light, and you can get different lighting effects. They've got like you can render lightning and different other things like that, and you've got different color tints and color gradients that you can use, and you can do like they've got section where you can do actual cinematic movie colors
Oh my
over
goodness. I need
graphics.
to I need to know where to go find this.
It's it's Boris Effects, and then it's the optics program in there. Um, it like I got a 50% discount on the version because I watched the Photoshop Cafe on
Okay.
YouTube, and he was offering a mega discount for all his subscribers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I got it. I bought the lifetime license. I think it was for about $100. But
Dang.
yeah, but yeah, he does do discounts on that from time to time. If anyone wants to pop over to the Photoshop Cafe and check out his videos, they're great for Photoshop lessons too.
Mhm.
I love his tutorials, and he was doing a live demonstration thing every Thursday where he'd show us different stuff live. That's been temporarily suspended for a while because they're improving it. But yeah, and that one and the Photoshop training channel are the other one. I those are my two Photoshop.
I like that one. Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah, but yeah, because he's good too. But I like the Photoshop Shop Cafe too because he's got some really nice tips and
I'm
stuff.
gonna have to like put all these links in the show notes below after the show because not only do I want to go back and find them later, but I'm sure as people watch after the fact, they might want to find these as well because anything that makes Photoshop a little bit easier to deal with is always good.
Oh yeah, but I love Boris Effects because it just pops the covers up that much more on the on with the effects because you can do stuff with that like professional stuff, which I like.
You got me sold. Now I got to go find some coupon codes.
Anyway, but I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, regular price. It's under $200 for a lifetime license. I
Okay.
mean, I needed the discount because I'm Canadian and I have the exchange rate on
Oh
top of it.
God. Oh
Yeah, so
yeah.
the discount just made it affordable for me. But for the Americans, it's not a bad price to get the optics effects. And you get a free 1 year free upgrade with the lifetime license, or
Okay.
you can do the subscribe a month thing too, which is pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you just wanted to try it out, and they do have a trial, like they have a free trial.
Oh, perfect.
Because I did do a free trial before I bought it because I wasn't sure if it would work on my computer because my computer's a little older. So I did try that and it worked. I loved it. I bought it with the coupon. So yeah, and after the free year upgrade, you can upgrade for $40 a month every year.
Okay.
So if you want or
Good
not,
to know.
you don't have to upgrade, which is the good thing. So you can use it as is forever.
I will definitely be checking that out after the show tonight because that sounds really helpful. And while I don't do a lot of covers, I do a lot of graphic design for flyers and stuff. So I do need something to help make Photoshop a little bit easier.
Yeah, but I really do like the Boris Optics Effects plugin. It's got so many things. I'm still finding things in it.
See, and that's why this whole author advice thing is a really good thing because, like I said earlier, even if you've been in this for a long time, there's always something new that you can learn from somebody who has been doing it or
Yeah.
who has found a tip or a trick or an easier way to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like even today, the Photoshop training channel had a little short on how to desaturate uh, the background and keep the foreground from in color. And
Okay.
so I tried that out, and it was like, yes, it works! Yay!
I love that. I love when it works.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, sometimes it's like I watch the video and then I try it and I go, okay, yeah, it's not working. I missed something here.
15
So,
steps and you're like, wait, what did I
yeah,
miss?
yeah, go back, watch the video. Oh, yeah, that I didn't do that.
Oh, I hate when I do something and I nail it. And then later on, I want to go back and recreate it and I can't remember what I've done.
Yeah, that's why my art playlist is so long. And it's like, yeah, and then you got to go through it and find, okay, where was that video?
Hey, Margaret, go do your family stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. I like your idea for covers. Definitely will be checking out the optic effects. That sounds amazing. Anything else that you want to touch on before we go? We've got about 10 minutes left in the hour.
Well, I just got the new books. My poetry book is on sale this week. My new poetry book, Roses and Ashes, poems about feminism and sexism, love and hate.
Is that this one here?
No,
Nope, that's not that one.
that's the short story. I
Oh.
didn't give you the poetry book cover.
Oh, that's right. That's
I
right.
don't have a graphic for that. I've been very remiss about marketing that book because I'm not sure how to do it because it's so different from the rest of my stuff. It's because like most of my poetry books have some sort of tie-in to fantasy, sci-fi, whatever, right? There's always some sort of section in them. So it's easier to market. This one is totally women's issues. It's totally about sexism, feminism, all these sort of gender issues. And so, yeah, I'm having trouble marketing that. But it's on sale this week for my birthday. And it's on Amazon right now for 99 cents. And for the rest of the retailers, it starts on the 4th of July. So
I love that. And happy birthday.
yeah, my birthday's on the 10th, but everything's on, that book's on sale till the 10th. So
I love that. Doing the sales for the birthday. I like that.
I always put one book on sale for my birthday.
These two in the chat. You guys are cracking me up.
But
so we got the poetry book, which is very timely right now.
Yeah, and we've talked about the Planning Your Book Creative Organizer. So that one's on sale, both in digital and the paperback's on Amazon, the digital's on Ko-fi. That's my Ko-fi page. I'm also running, if anyone wants to go over my Ko-fi page, I'm currently writing a sci-fi serial over there.
Ooh.
And yeah, we just murdered all the crew. So or most of the crew. More horrible things will be happening next week, probably, if I remember to upload the serial. The next segment. So yeah, there's horrible aliens coming doing horrible things to the crew. So
I like that. We'll have to put a link again in the show notes for your Ko-fi, so make sure you send that over to me.
And I've got some digital downloads over there as well on the Ko-fi page, which I've got the amusing checklist for a book launch for the writers.
Ooh.
Which is basically, it's a checklist of things that you have to do when writing a book.
Okay.
But it also has like weird little things in, like drink coffee and drink more coffee, stuff like that. So it's very amusing, it's sort of tongue-in-cheek version of it.
Good. I like that.
And I'm going to be putting some more checklists up there for authors, what to do. Checklists for doing a book launch, stuff like that.
Okay.
I just got to finish creating them.
You've got a lot of great advice to impart, things that are going to be very, very helpful. I like this. I can't wait to see what you do with it and you go further with it, because you've got so much that could really be expanded on. Like that cover idea, I think that would make an amazing series on YouTube where you could get a lot of people really interested and teach them, as well as help yourself by, showcasing your work. I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, and I got some digital like labels and things that I've got up on Ko-fi too that you can download, because I want to put some crafty stuff up, because I'm doing my crafty stuff over on the Redbubble store as well. And I've got some writer merchandise over there if anybody's interested.
Oh yeah. I've been over to your Redbubble a couple of times. I see you post something on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I got to go check it out.
Yeah. And I love the fact they've got pet stuff over there on Twitter and on Redbubble now, which is fun, because I've been making the mandalas
Coffee and tequila? I don't think that goes together so well. That's a lot of acid in that flavor profile.
I wouldn't know. I don't drink. So.
I don't know. I could see, something lighter, but tequila is very acidic and coffee is very acidic. If Rebecca, if you like that, go for it. But that seems harsh. Like my stomach is aching just thinking about it.
Yes, but at least I didn't have to go off coffee for my new medication, so that's good.
Yeah, how do you know? Caffeine is like essential. That's
Yeah,
a
well,
vitamin.
I asked the doctor whether I had to cut my coffee intake down. And he said no, 2 cups a day should be okay. It's just don't do any more. So I'm happy with that.
Coffee should not be well, every coffee I've ever had is, unless it's sun dried. I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I actually really don't like most coffees because they're very sharp, they're acidic, they're just bleh. And bitter. Yes, bitter, Margaret.
Yeah, this is why I put lots of cream and lots of sugar in my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It takes all those bad tastes away.
Yes, but caffeine is an essential element to all writers. So whatever way you get it, you got to make sure you do get it.
Yeah, and I also subscribed for my birthday for Japanese snack boxes.
Ooh, I've heard of those.
Yeah, the Boxu. Yeah, not overly impressed so far. We'll see what July. I mean, the first box, it was okay. I mean, I found the sweets to be nice, but nothing special. Although I will say the apple cookie was yum.
Was that the green box?
Boxu's red. It's their first box is Seasons of Japan.
That's okay, because I maybe I'm thinking of a different one where they had like
Yeah, there is a couple of them out. Anyway,
Okay.
I keep seeing Boxu on my YouTube channel, so I just decided to splurge and get a 3-month subscription for my birthday.
Oh, that's
anyway,
cool.
but they had some fish crackers in that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever had smoked mackerel, that's what those fish crackers tasted like, and they were awful, just awful. I have never made such faces in my life.
I've never had smoked mackerel, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Don't eat smoked mackerel. Smoked mackerel is sort of a thing in Nova Scotia, and I grew up with it. Yeah, don't. Just stay away from it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something I would want to eat. But that's kind of, part and parcel with doing the boxes. You never know what you're going to get.
Although surprisingly, the seaweed cracker things were pretty good. I mean, there was a little bit of a weird aftertaste, but they weren't bad.
I've had seaweed before, and as long as they're salty enough, it's good for me. If they're not salty enough, that fish flavor comes up and it doesn't taste as good.
Yeah, and the chili crackers were yummy.
Fish crackers are either great or sinisterly bad. Yes, I think.
These ones were sinisterly bad. But surprisingly, I crushed one of them up and added it to a soup to see if I could get a little, like a fish chowder.
Ooh.
And I took a little piece of the cracker that hadn't been crushed up, and I tasted it, and the fish taste was all gone. So apparently, if you soak them in milk, your fish taste leaves.
Interesting. It's always an adventure with those things.
Yeah, but the next box is citrus, so it might be a.
Ooh, I love almost everything citrus.
So do I. So.
All right. Hold on a second. I want to see, because you sent me a couple of graphics. I want to make sure that we're able to touch on them. So there's another book that you'd sent me, The Ghostly Tower.
Yeah, that's the first in the Hayward and Anderson Consulting Detective series. This is going to be a series of 5 short stories. And it's basically a paranormal steampunk detective series with Elspeth Hayward and Lars Anderson. And it's sort of a Sherlock Holmes parody as well.
Ooh.
And basically, each short story is a case that they're solving. This case is the case of the Ghostly Tower, where they have to figure out why this tower is haunted. And story 2 is going to be about vampires, and story 3 is headless corpses walking London. And story 4 is going to be sort of a Lovecraftian thing, and story 5 is going to be Sherlock Holmes at Reichenbach and Elspeth's role in that particular event,
Okay.
and her saving the world from a big forest god type thing.
And what is the publishing schedule on that one? Estimated.
Book 2 should come out, story 2 should come out this year, probably in September at this point, maybe a little earlier, depending on how fast I edit it. And the rest of the short stories should come out next year. And then it's all going into a box set with an extra story when you find out about Lars' fiance and why he dumped her.
Ooh.
And it's going to be a print version. I'm going to also do a print version of that box set. And I may add an extra little short flash fiction in the box set as well. I haven't decided on that. But yeah, but I do like writing those stories because Elspeth is fun. She's basically fearless, likes dynamite and shooting things. So
sounds like my kind of girl. I like that.
And yeah, and this is all set in an alternate Victorian London. So
awesome. Well, definitely as you're getting more of those out, you got to come back on and talk about them. We always like having you here. It's fun sitting and chatting with you.
Yeah, and I got all the covers done for those. So I always do my covers first because it helps me write the stories for some reason. So
I can see that, almost like visual plotting, because it gives you the theme to work off of.
And then when I change the story, I have to go back and change the cover. That's what happened with the Norse Tales. I had a cover set up for it, but then as I'm plotting this all out and the whole thing's coming together, I'm going, no, that cover's not going to work. So I went and redid it.
Dang it.
But I wasn't happy with the first cover anyway, so.
But at least you enjoyed doing the covers. So it's a creative outlet.
Yeah, the second cover's better too. So actually, there is kind of a Cthulhu mashup in the Hayward and Anderson. It's not Cthulhu per se, but it is an eldritch god that makes an appearance, sort of. Anyway, and Sherlock Holmes appears in. Sherlock Holmes is going to be a character in story 5 for a brief appearance because he's fallen off the cliff at that point, so he's sort of unconscious.
I think you've got a happy customer waiting now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, well, there's a running joke to the series. In the first story, The Ghostly Tower, Elspeth actually admires Sherlock Holmes. He's her inspiration for becoming a consulting detective. But she wrote to him, and he wrote back and was rather rude, like Sherlock Holmes is. So there's a running joke through the rest of the series that she now hates him, and he's her rival, and she goes on and on and on and on about that.
I like it.
So yeah. No, Sherlock Holmes does not. Cthulhu is story 4. Sherlock Holmes is story 5.
She's already feeding you information for the story. I love it.
Although there is a god in story 5, but not an eldritch god. I just haven't figured out which god yet.
No spoilers.
I just haven't figured out which god yet is in story 5. So
okay.
But there's some dark horror creepy thing that's trying to get out and take over the world in story 5. So yeah. And Moriarty shows up in story 5 as well.
I've always liked Moriarty.
Yeah, but not the same Moriarty that you all know. He's different.
She's really pushing for that.
Well, I did kind of want to do a follow-up Sherlock Holmes story after I'm not sure what the copyright is on the follow-up after Reichenbach Falls on Sherlock Holmes, though. So
yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, up to Reichenbach, you're free to use it.
Okay.
But after, there's still some copyright on some of those stories, so I'm not sure about that.
Rebecca is not giving up.
But anyway.
All
Well,
right. All right.
there is an evil villain surrounding the Eldritch God that Elspeth gets to punch in the nose.
Oh,
If she punches a lot of people.
nothing wrong with that. They deserve it.
No, no, no. In the second story, she's got some brass knuckles.
Ooh. I'm liking this girl.
Yeah.
Rebecca's still going. Oh.
But yeah, no, I do like writing the Hayward narratives. It's just a lot of fun because Elspeth's like this gung ho woman, right? And Lars is like this. I just want to stay home and have brandy and tea. It's like, but I gotta. My job is to take care of her and keep her out of serious trouble.
Reluctant follower.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I
it's
like
an
that.
interesting play between those two. So they're a lot of fun to write.
All right. Well, as I said, once you've got a few more of them out, you got to come back and discuss some of them here. Clearly, you have a fan. Rebecca is foaming at the mouth to get you to write Cthulhu and Sherlock.
Yeah, but I mean, well, you will get an eldritch god and a mechanical monster in story 4.
Oh, now she's on me. Before we get into that side of it, Rebecca, we'll just close out the show for today.
Yeah, and don't forget to pick up Katie's writing advice book too, which
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't mention. So go
Yep.
ahead and mention it.
I think yours and mine would pair very well together.
Yes.
You got the writing advice, the creative writing tips, as well as the editing tips, and a lot of cheat sheets. Those are my absolute favorite to help with word swaps, to help with your sensory words, some seek and destroy words that you can get rid of to make your writing instantly sound snappier. All the good stuff there, and then Anita, that like flows perfectly with yours because you've got all the organizational stuff.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. This is the how to pre-plan all your research and your characters and stuff, because and half of it is characters, by the way, just to show you where the characters is, because that's why I put so many character sheets in here, so you can use it for more than one book, so you don't have to buy it all the time. Like, see, that's all the character sheets right there.
Oh, good.
So you can do like multiple books, you can do a series and stuff like that, and there's miscellaneous notes too, so if you need more plot notes as well in there. And that's also why you put the digital downloads, because if you want more, you can go and buy the digital downloads, print them out, and just staple them into the book.
Yes, Rebecca, you do need to check that out. I think you're going to enjoy that one. The organizational tools are always helpful, especially if you've got it in like one spot to go to. So,
that's the thing. I have my series on the Renaissance Venice, and I'm writing it, and I'm just, where did I put my notes? I've got all these different pages of notes on Google Docs, and where are they? So I'm going to be using one of these on myself when I get back to writing that series and put all my notes
Isn't it
together.
funny how you create a book for others and you end up using it more? I don't know where I put my version of the writing book, but the pages are now bowed out because I use it all the time for all of those cheat sheets and the word swaps. I'm like, where was that? Oh, I know that was here. And I'll go thumb through it.
The one with the ugly Amazon banner is going to be the one I use.
Oh, wait, hold on. Here it is. There we go. There's my... I've used it so often that the pages will not close anymore. But that's what it's there for. And it's something that can be used with new authors or experienced authors alike.
Yeah, and then it's pretty universal for most genres too. I mean, it's geared a little bit towards fantasy and sci-fi because, that's mostly what I write, but you can pretty much use it for any genre. And it's good for pantsers and plotters as well. So.
All right. Well, we have gone over our hour, so I'm sorry, Anita. I didn't mean to keep you that long.
Oh, it's okay. I got nothing to do tonight because I'm done working. So the rest of the nights, I've been working all day on my articles, and I'm done for today. So
lucky you. My night is just beginning. I spent most of my day today doing work that I'm not getting paid for, but it was it was fun creative outlet work.
Yeah.
So I was enjoying making them, and then I looked at the clock and went, shit, I just wasted half my day.
Yeah.
So I get to spend the rest of the evening doing real work.
Yeah. And one last plug, and that's for the Author to Writing Conference.
Oh, yes.
Which we are both in.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the panel I'm hosting on Saturday. And we're going to be talking steampunk, and I'm going to be having the authors from the Fairy Tale Punked anthologies as the guests. So we're going to be talking about all the punk genres: steampunk, diesel punk, clock punk, all the punks. And it should be fun.
I bet. That's a good lineup
and
you got there.
We are going to be in a panel together with JD Estrada on writing across genres.
Yes.
So that should be fun too, because Bobby Nash is going to be in that with us. So basically, it's going to be a crazy authors talking about lots of stuff. So
I've loved every panel I've ever been on, because it's like the element of hanging with your people. You know, we're all different in how we approach it, but we're all creatives, and that creative energy, I just love it.
Yeah, but I mean, I did an interview with Bobby Nash, and he is such fun in these videos and panels. So
awesome.
Yeah, and with
Can't
you
wait.
and JD, I'm going to have a blast on Friday. So
all right, well, that's it for us tonight. And Anita, you are always welcome back. You know that. Anytime you want to come on, we will make space for you. I love chatting with you. And I can't wait to see more of your advice series. I'm really excited for that. I think that's a really awesome thing. And I want to see those book covers.
Yeah, I'll probably have the one on the genres first, because I have to find people for the book cover one. But yeah, I do want to get that out by the end of the summer, I hope.
All right. Well, let me know when you do. I will be putting the notes down below in about 10 minutes so that you can find all the links we've talked about, and find where you can get Anita's books as well as her website, all that good stuff. I think that's it. I got nothing else for this week, so I will see you guys again next week. Jane, she'll be back, and we'll get some more authors to introduce you to and some more fun conversation to have.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It was fun, and I'll be back next week in the audience. So
we love you that you are always there. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, bye.